What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. So let me jump into something. Somebody DM me, and the point that the person was making was that they said that now based on some videos that I made, the person told me, "Oh, I don't really fuck with Floyd." I said, "Hey, brother, that's your opinion. That's your right. It doesn't bother me. I'm not trying to make you or anybody else like Floyd and no other fighter. I'm not trying to make you dislike any fighter. You're a grown man. So unless you're a puppet, I'm certainly not a ventriloquist. You know, what you like or don't like, that's your business, man. You don't have to explain that to me." And he was saying, "Nah, like I agree with the point you was making, but I'm saying I don't like Floyd because, you know, Floyd is this and that, and he did this and that. You know, he was even convicted. Yada yada yada." Now, this is all, of course, via text message through on YouTube. So he hits me and says, um, but he thought about some things, right? That he never thought about before. When he watched the video, he looked at it and he thought, damn, you know what? And he said he started going looking over things, bringing up old fights and watching interviews. And he said, damn, I see the stuff you was talking about. And basically, like my response to him was, look, that's what I do. I speak what I speak the facts of. I don't make my opinion and say it's fact because it's my opinion. No. So it's like saying Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier fought 3 times. That's facts. It's not my opinion that they fought 3 times. Now, which fight was the best out of the three is an opinion. Okay? Everybody is entitled to having one. But then further on, he said his favorite fighter of all time is Mike Tyson. And I said, you know what? See, this is what I'm talking about. Again, doesn't matter who you like, how you, I don't care about that. But your reasons for saying you don't like a fighter, this is where the hypocrisy comes in. Now, the man said Mike Ty- Floyd Mayweather beat up on his wife or big kid's mother or whatever, and he went to prison for it and yada yada yada. And now Mike Tyson was accused and convicted of rape. Now, whether we believe it or not doesn't change the fact that he was convicted of rape. Do we know? No. Was we there? No. Were we there when Floyd had the situation with his kid's mom? No. Did he do it? We do not know. Now, based on the information that we were told, his kids watched it and they this and that. First off, to show you how fucked up people are, anytime parents go through something, the one thing you do is you leave the kids out. And his kids were really small at that time. But they were like, oh, and his kid saw it, and he did it. And basically, if you've ever been accused of something you never done or even thought about doing, but you look guilty because somebody said you did, witnesses said us, and then it turns out, no, you didn't. Sometimes the truth never comes out. But people were even like, oh, yeah, and even hit like, man, the kids shouldn't even been brought into that. Now, if the kids were there, and you know what's funny? Because in the end, yeah, he went to prison, right? And he was accused of hitting her, and which he basically said, no, that's not how it went down. But you know what's funny? That he got custody of his kids. So if he really did that, so what? It's because he has money. Wouldn't he be considered dangerous to his kids too? Because don't pull that shit about, oh, but he paid his debt to society. Because we know that if you went to jail, McDonald's don't even want to hire you. Okay, if you have prison attached to your name, McDonald's don't, unless it's an expungement situation where, like now with COVID, they might just, all right, you know, it was a long time ago, or you know what, whatever. We need help. Okay, but here's what I'm saying. Mike Tyson went to jail. Mike Tyson was convicted of rape. But you just said you don't like Floyd because of those things, which is your it's your choice to like whoever. But I'm addressing this because this is what I'm saying. You felt the need to address which I'm not mad at, but you felt the need that you felt like you had to voice your opinion, and you're like, okay, now, but I see what you're talking about. Okay, right. But in you voicing your opinion and saying that, see, I don't get into this personal stuff. But if someone did something and they were proven guilty, okay, a lot of innocent people go to jail. Now, we was not there. Based on the evidence of both fighters, well, the allegations, I don't believe either story. I mean, because the things that we heard about his kid's mother saying that he did and this and how this went, and then all of a sudden he ends up having custody of his kids. Why? Just because he has money? I mean, if kids are in danger because they have an abusive father, why would I mean? And this wasn't a custody battle. He just basically, no, I got my kids. Why? Why? If he was, Mike Tyson situation, remember, I scratched and I was hitting and screaming and kicking. The man doesn't have a scratch on his face. You mean to tell me because he's Iron Mike Tyson, she couldn't penetrate his skin, she scratched and did? And the man calls at 3 o'clock in the morning, to come meet me. Oh, it's Mike Tyson, so I did. Whatever, man. Okay. We can't prove anything, but both stories sound like bullshit to me. Okay. Regardless. They both went to jail for domestic situations. Okay. And anybody who's ever been in this situation or saw it, that a woman can try to hit you and you can simply grab her wrists and shove her to the bed and say, hey, get off. Fellas, you've argued with the woman before and they try to cut you off and run. Get her, you ain't going nowhere. And trying to act still. Hey, look, get the fuck off me. Push him to the bed or something. Fall around, act like you all of a sudden had incredible Hulk strength and slammed them. Like, you know what I mean? All they got to do is say you did something. The cops will come, and without proof, you are in jail because even if, sir, did you grab her by the wrist? Yes, to keep her from hitting me. Some cops can be assholes, and then others may, okay, no, I never hit her. I grabbed her wrist because she's coming in. I'm trying to leave. She don't want to let, I'm supposed to stand there and let her scratch and hit me. No, fuck it. I grabbed her wrist. I didn't walk up to her and grab her. She came to me hitting it, and I grabbed her wrist. Okay, some of them can, okay, and I left out the house. Or however it goes. She called you guys talking about I did this, I did that, and whatever. Okay. Long story short. If you look at the history of boxing, not even just boxing, sports, entertainment, whatever. I mean, there's always somebody who had something going on in their personal life. I mean, I was told, like, I remember, I seen a story about Red Fox that he used to beat up on his wife. Sugar Ray Robinson. You watch his documentary. His ex-wife, his wife said he used to beat up on her. But you still say, oh, Sugar Ray's the greatest of all time. Sugar Ray, you still give him his props. This is what I'm saying when people come with this pick and choose. You clearly misunderstand my point when I'm saying things, okay? It's just like if somebody sat here and said, I was playing football yesterday and I scored a 3-point. And then, a couple of plays later, I scored a goal. And third quarter, I hit a home run. Wouldn't that be a clear indication that person don't know what the fuck they're talking about? So you have to break down, okay, well, if you score a touchdown, it's 6 points. The extra point is 1 point, so you have 7. Unless you go for the extra 2, which would be 2, and you have 8 points. And every touchdown is 6 points. You understand what I mean? 10 yards is the first down. You start breaking the game down. Now imagine somebody going, oh, this motherfucker don't know what he's talking about. Baseball is better. Motherfucker, I'm not comparing baseball and football, stupid jackass. What I'm saying is I'm explaining what football is because you're fucking mixing all this shit in. You're not sticking to the point. I'm not telling you should like football or you shouldn't, or you should like football more than baseball. I don't give a fuck how you feel about Floyd Mayweather. I don't know Floyd Mayweather. I don't know this guy personally. I'm not friends with him. I'm not a fan of him. I'm not a fan of anyone's. You understand what I'm saying? But if you're going to talk facts, then talk facts. Don't make a bunch of fucking allegations and then say facts, 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 Fact that this guy did this. Fact, no, all you're fucking doing is stroking your own fucking ego, what you think you know, and then it's like you're making assumptions about shit. So my thing was like, okay, if you're basing your like or dislike on a fighter based on what they do in the ring, you think a fight is overrated, you think a fight is underrated, okay, whatever. But when you start talking about what the fuck the media says, I mean, the same media, the same way how we saw police officers say Rodney King was threatening them and he was physically strong and he was throwing officers to the ground and they were pleading with him. And when the videotape was rolled, we didn't see any of that shit. We just saw the man getting beat unmerciful with fucking police sticks. That same media you talking about? So you're not there to see this. Just like when they have fights where you have guys, this guy said this guy said that. You have meetings with each other's camp. We don't know, like I said in the previous video, we don't know why fights happen and why they don't. All we know is they get out to the media and people they choose sides of who they want to win, who they like and don't like, and try to give you a scenario based off of their personal like or dislike for a fighter. And we run with that shit. This is why, like, somebody made a comment about Mike Tyson and was like, I'm such a Mike Tyson fan that if, I don't give a fuck what Tyson do, I'm rolling with Tyson. Hey, that's your business. But here's a reality check. You can't expect to have a meaningful conversation with anyone if you're not going to make sense. If you're just going to be on the bias bandwagon, then who the fuck wants to talk to you? And I'm certainly not the one to sit up and argue with you motherfuckers and, oh, no, you wrong. Because, no, simple. I'll point out facts to you. I don't point out my opinion. I will point out facts to you. Now, because the facts fuck you up because you don't want to accept the reality, well, that's you. And that's your problem. I'm not going to lose sleep over this shit. But you guys need to understand something. When you are talking about a guy, like somebody made a comment about Ernie Shavers had the most first round knockouts in boxing history. And I'm like, where the fuck did you get that from? Even guys that fought George Foreman said Ernie Shavers hit harder than George Foreman. What the fuck does that have to do with who has the most first round knockouts? I'm not giving a fuck. You see, trying to switch the tone. I nobody's talking about who hits harder than him or I don't give a fuck. That's not what we're talking about. You said Ernie Shavers had more first round knockouts than anybody in boxing history. And I'm like, where the fuck did you hear that from? Because that's not true, but at the same time, it's like, so all of these opinions. So you like Ernie Shavers more than you like George Foreman or whoever? That is your fucking opinion. I'm not sitting here to have a conversation with you about how I love or like another grown-ass man. I'm not a fan of anybody's. I like, respect, and appreciate what people do. That is as far as it goes. So I'm saying this for like the fucking 1 millionth time because I always get somebody DM me trying to explain some shit to me, but they don't understand. You do not have to explain to me whether you like a fighter or not, whether you hate, dislike. I don't. Listen to me, okay? And this is not anger, okay? I have no reason to be angry. I'm not married to these motherfuckers. They're not my wives. I don't play that shit. That's not what this is, okay? You do not have to explain shit to me about who you like and why you like them. If I ask a question just on the video of who you like, okay, we're just vibing. But I don't give a fuck how you feel about these fighters. What the fuck do I care? For some reason, people love to DM me, yeah, I ain't hating on the guy, but the motherfucker this, the motherfucker that. Why are you explaining this shit to me? Like, I don't care what you're saying as far as who, like, I don't care how you feel. When I respond to you differently from what you like, it's simply because I'm correcting your shit or I'm adding something for you to think about. Like I said before, I'm hearing conversations about, like, there's a channel who put out a video that made up a fucking lie, okay, about Roy Jones. And what was said in the video was, if Roy really wanted that, he could have just reached out to Jay Prince. He didn't really want to fight Mike Tyson. Roy Jones, not just now in 2020, but back then, 2003, 4, whatever the year was, after he beat Ruiz, he stated that shit back then. When he reached out for to fight Mike, he was told Mike Tyson basically retired. He don't want nothing to do with boxing right now. So that fight was off, and then he went back to light heavyweight, which was what he was going to do anyway. But the only fight he wanted after he got the title was he wanted to defend his title, to defend it against Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson never denied this shit, and Roy have said that shit on multiple occasions way back then, and he said it now. So where did they get this shit about Roy ducked him? He was offered 40 million and he turned it down. He asked for 60 million. Like, where do people come up with this shit? So when I was watching this channel, I said, damn, and you know, the thing is, they're a big channel. They get a lot of viewers, and I'm like, you see, this is what I mean. People trying to report boxing news and don't know what the fuck they're talking about. He was never offered 40 fucking million. He put the offer out to fight Mike. Mike Tyson, people say he's retired right now and he don't, he's not interested in boxing anybody at this point. And this shit was said way back then. So how the fuck 2020 we come in and we got these fucking guys coming out with these channels making all of these videos about what happened, and then they're like way off the fucking mark. They're not even saying what the fuck the truth is. You know what I'm saying? And this is not a look to say if he wanted that smoke, he would. Why he didn't just go to Jay Prince and make the fight happen? Jay Prince would have made that shit happen. He called Jay. Jay called him. That goes to show you right there. This didn't come from a reliable source. This is hearsay, and this is also leaning favoritism towards Mike because you like Mike more than you like Roy. So somebody has to be to blame, right? So it wasn't Mike, it was Roy. Now, when was this 40 million ever offered to Roy? And then, Roy said, nah, I want 60 million. This is what I'm saying about these other, like, when people say shit and then these guys, what I think happens, I think, like, for each of us that make videos, I think guys listen to your video and then maybe somebody they've been watching longer or they think is a better source of information. They'll go and listen to them and get all hyped up and, oh, yeah, see, because he even said it. And then come back and question you like, oh, yeah, see, because this and that. Bro, listen, like I said, I do this shit for fun. I have a life. I am not 24/7 sitting there with my eyes glued to a TV so I can just, let me make 25 videos in one day. Pause. Yeah, so anyway, what ends up happening is, like I said, they come back and it's like they're talking to you as if they're schooling you on something. It's like they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And you're coming out with this shit, like I said, because people make claims and then say, facts that this happened. No, it's not facts, motherfucker. It's your opinion. And you're just it's not even fucking in your opinion. And then also with a bunch of rumors and claims that you have no proof of. So when we start talking about what happened and who did what, where are you getting this information from? You're relying on channels that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I've seen people put up videos and say, Roy Jones training for Mike Tyson. These are old fucking videos. These are not even the new videos. And it's like, anything just to get a like, to get a view, to get a new subscriber. This is what you do. And they put out this bullshit. And guys are like, oh man, yo, Roy looked too small. And it's like, And you guys don't have the common sense to know that these are not new videos. These are old videos. And you can clearly see the size difference, the youth in Roy's face. He had all his fucking hair. Like, come on. Y'all must have forgot Roy. Y'all not showing Roy now. You understand what I'm saying? And they'll put this video side by side, show Roy training, show Mike training. Different channels are doing certain things. Some of it is more current when he was fighting as a cruiserweight. But I mean, it's like, come on, man. Like, you guys, wake up. Stop acting like a bunch of fucking kids that have to be led around by the hand. And then you jump on somebody's channel and want to speak like you're schooling somebody when all you got to do is do your homework. So, like, yeah, when I said, like, Larry Merchant was it when he said, Prince Nassim certainly is not going to want to fight you after seeing that performance. Do you think I just sat here and made that up? Do you think I just fucking sat here because I had nothing better to do and just made that up? When I say, you can say that this guy ducked whoever, but that's fine. But how can you say he ducked these people when the same person you're giving favoritism to didn't fight these people either? And they were there at the same time. So how is it a duck for one but not the other? And neither one of them fought the same guys. And they fought the same guys. Is that my opinion? No, it's a fucking fact. And I can sit here and name the guys that this guy didn't fight, that he didn't fight either. So how is it a duck for one? So what I'm saying is, you come in with all this, people come with all this opinionated shit, like they're gonna change your mind by asking you questions like, or telling you that they're gonna tell you this is what happened, or ask you questions about things as if they're not asking you for your answer. They're asking you so they can tell you what they think. And it's like, you're not gonna change. If I say I like Muhammad Ali more than I like Mike Tyson, what the fuck are you gonna say that's gonna change my mind? And in fact, why the fuck would you even like that? That's never my intentions to change your mind or try to change your mind. I'm just giving you the information that you're fucking missing. Because you're clearly, you guys, and granted, a lot of you motherfuckers, I don't know your ages and it's none of my business, but a lot of you motherfuckers sound like just biased or either casuals. Because when you fucking come and say that a guy fought this way, that way, I plainly like even when we were talking about certain fighters that I can't classify them in a particular weight class because even if they won a championship, they didn't state it, right? As an all-time great in that division. How fucking stupid can people be that I can say this and you make it sound like I'm saying something so fucking complex? Okay? If you look, let me give a quick analogy again as a comparison. I don't care about all this greatest of all time shit. But if someone said Marvin Hagler is the greatest middleweight of all time, hey, so be it. And one thing you have to say, Marv stayed at middleweight his whole career. He didn't go up and down. Okay? I can see somebody saying that about Marv. Sugar Ray Leonard beat Marvin Hagler when they fought. But I can't consider him an all-time great middleweight. An all-time great fighter, yes. But at middleweight, how many fucking fights did Ray have? You understand what I'm saying? So, yes, he beat Marv. Okay, we can say, well, he's better than Marv because he won. Fine. I don't disagree with that. But what I'm talking about is I feel like no matter how simple I make it, people just don't get, okay, it's like this, okay? If you worked as a fireman for 5 years, and you worked as a construction guy for 25 years, okay? What do you think you're going to get the most compensation from? Your pension and all that, right? From here or from here? What would you rather pick from if you had a choice? You rather pick from, okay. So what I'm saying is the majority of your experience, your work came from here. 25 years versus 5. This is what I'm saying. So it's like if a fighter has 25 fights in a division and one guy has 5. And on top of that, you only had a handful of like who? Ray Leonard retired, came back, he fought what, Howard Davis? And then came back again and had no warm-ups, went straight in there with Marvin Hagler. If you're that dumb to think I'm saying Ray Leonard is not an all-time great, that is like not my fault that you guys just can't comprehend simple shit. I'm saying he's an all-time great fighter, and he has an accomplishment that he went to 160 and won the title from Marv. But I cannot rank him as an all-time great middleweight because he hasn't done enough in the division. I don't understand where all the fucking confusion is coming from. I cannot rank Floyd Mayweather as an all-time great junior middleweight because he only had a handful of 2 fights there with Miguel Cotto and with Oscar De La Hoya. An all-time great fighter overall, yes. Yes. But when we're talking about in the division, now, I'm not at all saying he can't compete with the people in the division. Of course not. He can't. He went to those divisions and he won the fights. I'm talking about the longevity there. So yeah, it all counts and it's all accomplishments on his resume. Same thing. If you ask people what you think Manny Pacquiao's best weight was, they're going to tell you at lightweight. The majority of his career, just like Shane Mosley, the majority of his career was at lightweight. Floyd Mayweather when he was Pretty Boy Floyd was a lot more offensive, a lot more. He had to change his style up because his hands started breaking down, but he was still successful and stacked on all these fights and came. So, and I think that, I mean, anyway, but where you invested the most time, that's where you get ranked at overall. Now, as an all-time overall great, nobody's saying you couldn't make it in that division. You made it in the division. Roy Jones went up, beat John Ruiz. Okay? John Ruiz beat Evander Holyfield. They fought like three times. He beat Evander Holyfield. Right? Okay. He got some names on his resume. But I cannot rank Roy Jones as an all-time great heavyweight. He only had one fight. When you look at Muhammad Ali, now let me show you what's funny about that. When you think of Ali, what's the first thing you think about? 3-time world heavyweight champion, right? Why nobody talk about Ali's fights as a light heavyweight? Because he spent the majority of his time as a heavyweight. Now, if Ali, let's say Ali would have spent his whole career at light heavyweight, then all of a sudden, let's say he goes up and fight Frazier and Foreman. Those would have been two incredible names on his resume that he beat. But you could not call him an all-time great heavyweight for having 2 fucking fights. You understand what I'm saying? Look at Evander Holyfield. Now, he's an all-time great overall, one of the greatest heavyweights of all time because he spent a huge majority of his career there, and he left as a heavyweight. But he's also considered by many, by most, the greatest cruiserweight of all time because of his dominance there. Now, if he would have went up, beat George Foreman, and say maybe, Fort Riddick Bowe, you can't compare him and then went back to cruiser. You can't compare him and say he's an all-time great heavyweight. So all of this, like when people when you listen to a video, make sure you get the gist of what's being said, man. Before you fucking respond, keep your emotions out of it. Nobody cares about who you like and don't like. I don't give a shit about that. Understand the material before you respond because you guys, you say the wrong shit. And you say things, even like when I said, I don't understand how Alexander Usyk can move up from cruiserweight and automatically find himself in a title hunt for a world heavyweight title. He's done nothing as a heavyweight. I mean what I'm saying. Yeah, you got guys like Dillian White, who's been #1 contender for over 1,000, well over 1,000 days now. I mean, this shit is unheard of. You got other fighters who've been campaigning as a heavyweight their whole career, and they haven't got a title shot yet. Yet here's a guy who did everything as a cruiserweight. Comes up, and without having a fight, he's a mandatory for Anthony Joshua. Then you got some idiot, you just saying that because you like AJ. What the fuck are you talking about? Look, don't be a jackass. I don't care who holds the heavyweight title. How does he get a title shot? How does he become mandatory? It's one thing if AJ or whoever calls him out and say, fuck it, you're heavyweight. You know what? Let's rock. He becomes mandatory without fighting anyone because of what he did as a cruiserweight. Okay, did Evander Holyfield go up to heavyweight and all of a sudden become mandatory? No. When Orlin Norris went to heavyweight, I don't know why the hell Mike Tyson chose to fight that little guy, but he was handpicked. He was cherry-picked by Mike. Yes, Orlin Norris done nothing as a heavyweight. He went up. Maybe he's out of friendship. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know if they were friends or what. Who knows? But he for whatever reason, it wasn't against Michael Moore or David Tua or Riddick Bowe or George Foreman or Lennox Lewis at that time. It was, for whatever reason, he fought little Orlin Norris. Okay. But Orlin Norris wasn't a mandatory. He was handpicked. Now, how can you not understand what I'm saying? Did James Toney go to heavyweight and become a mandatory because of what he did at cruiser? No. For some reason, Usyk comes up and then he becomes. Now, you want to know what I'm going to say, because this just might happen. Usyk as a heavyweight, they have no franchise champion yet, right? So it was talks about, it was mentioned Tyson Fury could be, right? Maybe we'll make him franchise. I won't be shocked. Now let's say Tyson Fury wins against Wilder, okay, but Usyk might be given that as well, and that's why I'm not really a fan of this franchise champion stuff. And on top of that, it's only the WBC that's doing this. So what has Usyk done in the WBC that would make him franchise champion, right? And I'm saying that because he's done nothing as a heavyweight to become mandatory. So when we're saying these things, just because you like a fighter and you hear something being denounced or something being spoken against or questioned, you guys get all PMS like and, oh, but how could you say that? Well, I like that. I don't care who you like, man. I'm not here to cater to your feelings, man. Like I said, I come on here to have fun and do my thing when we talk about boxing. But you guys are constantly talking about how somebody is this and somebody is that. Then you say you don't like this person because of this and that. But then the person that you like the most have damn near identical situation. So, I mean, come on. Two guys went to prison for some domestic shit. Two guys, I mean, okay, let's be real. And like I said, because you believe something don't make it true. Because you don't believe something don't make it true. But when you start talking all this facts bullshit, and no, you're not, what you're doing, you're not even trying to have a conversation. What you're trying to do is spark up a fucking debate. And it's like, listen, bro, I don't have any interest in going back and forth with you. Now you want to keep the conversation pleasant. Yep, I'll respond to your text and whatever. That's all good. But when you start making this shit personal and you guys keep running shit in the ground, trying to make it more than what it is, it's like, no, I'm not interested in that. So you can jump on whatever channel and do it. They might support that shit, but I don't. Because it's like, first off, I don't care enough about any of this shit to argue with anybody. And two, as far as I'm concerned, the fighters, okay? The fighters that are involved, they're the ones at risk, not me, not you. If I'm in there fighting somebody, then yeah, it's personal for me. But other than that, no. And even then, it's about winning, right? Well, why are we arguing about anything? I'm not arguing with anybody. So again, man, y'all say something, you make hypocrites out yourselves, and you're so childish that you don't even think like, damn, look at what I just said. I just said I don't like this guy. So in other words, what you're saying is you believe Floyd did what he did, but you don't believe what Mike did. That Mike did what he was accused of. And again, you wasn't there in either case, and neither was I. So how could you say he did or didn't do it? And like I said, the allegations that I heard towards both fighters sound like bullshit to me. But again, I don't know. I don't think either one of them did it. But that's irrelevant. So like I said, you don't have to call, like text me to tell me you don't, that I'm not hating on the guy, but I just think or whatever. We're having conversations, that's all. Stop taking this shit so serious and stop fucking walking around here with an attitude simply because a person see things different from you. But again, if I can bring you facts. I'm wearing a Marvel Comics t-shirt. This is not my fucking opinion, okay? The shirt's black. It has multicolors in it. Different characters on the shirt. That's a fact. Okay? This is the best shirt in the world. That's an opinion. And I just want to believe that you guys, it's not even what I want to believe. You guys should be intelligent enough to understand the difference between a fact and opinion. So before you open up your fucking mouth to start typing what this motherfucker did, no, think about what you said before you type. Everybody make mistakes, but you guys like just clearly don't know what the fuck you be talking about, and then you jump on here trying to correct people because they see something different. Like I said, we don't know who would have won between Ali and Tyson, right? I say Ali. Quick Tillis fought Tyson, and most people feel like Quick Tillis won that fight, and he copies Ali's style. And I've heard people say, "Oh, Tyson would knock Ali out in one round." Tyson himself said, "You ain't knocking Ali out. Not me, not nobody." Anyway, that's all I'm going to say on this video, and I will catch y'all on the next one.